Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today I am doing another hard start in Crusader Kings 3, and for this hard start we are going to be playing in 1066 as none other than Prince Erik III, the Heathen of Sweden. This start was recommended to me by a few different people, and after I survived the start as a Jewish ruler in Ethiopia, I thought it would be a good idea to do something in a similar vein as that, as one of the only remaining Asatru rulers in Sweden in a 1066 start. He actually has the name the Heathen because, as you can see here, his king, the King of Sweden, is Catholic, and so are most of the other vassals in Sweden. So before we even have a look at our land, one of the main things I'm going to do that was also recommended to me during my Ethiopia game as a Jewish ruler was to go over here and modify my feudal contract to get protected religious rights. And what this is going to do is it's just going to make sure that my liege cannot demand my conversion. They cannot use their convert ability on any of my counties that are in my control. So to get this protected religious rights, what we are going to have to do is give up either some taxes or some levies. And what I think I'm going to do is actually give up some taxes for this, because I do want to keep my military pretty strong, because I plan on invading all kinds of people around me. So we'll go ahead and modify our feudal contract like that, and you can see now we have gained religiously protected. If we take a look at our ruler here, you can see we actually have some very interesting stats. We have greedy, brave, and zealous, which is pretty cool considering we're one of the only Asatru people left in the world. And another thing that is going to be pretty cool about playing in this area of the map, the succession of the kingdom that we are a part of is going to be passed down through nomination. So what this means is we get to vote who we would like to be the next king of Sweden, and that person is going to inherit this kingdom title. So obviously I'm going to go ahead and vote for myself, which you can see vaults us right into rank number 1 of the voting, because I have a vote strength of 13, and you can see a lot of other people in Sweden actually want me to be king as well, because they are also the same religion as me, and they don't want a Catholic person in charge of them.
Hello darkness, my old friend.
So we're pretty much going to be doing some infighting with our nephew, who is our king, and all of his Catholic vassals. There are a few other things that I have to get done in the beginning of the game. You can see we actually have enough renown to choose a legacy right off the bat, which is pretty cool. And because we are playing as the people with this Swedish culture, you can see we have 3 different renown trees that we can choose from up here, which all came with the Northern Lords DLC pack, which is pretty cool. And I think what we are going to do is go down the warfare tree, because we obviously as Norsemen plan on doing a lot of warring. We might pick up some of these pillage ones because they are actually pretty good as well. But for now, I think House of Warriors is going to help to give us a little bit more prestige and increase the effectiveness of our knights. You can see we also have to choose a lifestyle, and you'll see here that we actually have a bunch of perks already in the military tree, which I like a lot, because I think at least this perk here is really useful. But what I'm going to do is actually go down the intrigue route, which is something I don't normally do, but as is often the case with these difficult starts, it helps to be it helps to go down this schemer tree here, so you can pick up some useful perks, such as this one, which increases your murder scheme power, or a job done right, which also increases the hostile scheme success chance. And I think the focus that we are going to go down is this first one here, because it gives us not only a little bit more intrigue, but it also increases the chance that agents will accept to join our murder factions. One good thing about our nephew, who is our king, is he actually has 0 intrigue, which obviously is terrible. So when we do decide to do a murder scheme on him, hopefully it'll have a good odds at going through. But for now, I think we are ready to let this game start out. Another thing I wanted to talk about was actually some of the buildings we have in our capital here. You can see that we have the Temple of Uppsala, which is a temple holding that is pre-built because we have a holy site over here for our religion in our capital. So this is going to be a great bonus for us. As you can see, it's going to be giving us 1 gold per month and 10% holding tax increase. So even though our player currently only is holding 1 county, we're actually still going to be making a decent amount of gold income because this temple is going to add a lot to it. But my main goal for right now will be to increase my domains to 4, and I don't know, I'm not sure yet if I'm going to go outwards to do that. I could declare war on some of these weak neighbors to the north, but the problem is that they are tribal holdings, so I won't get any benefits from holding these until I feudalize them, which is pretty expensive, and we won't have a huge gold income right in the beginning of the game. So I'm thinking I might have to declare war on some of my neighboring vassals of the Kingdom of Sweden. Also, I think I will actually start my murder scheme on King Erik here, who is my nephew, because although I have religious freedom, which means that he is not able to demand conversion out of me, he is still able to revoke my titles because he's Catholic, and the Catholic religion considers our Norse religion as evil, so he can do that without getting any tyranny or being seen as an unjust ruler. So I'm going to go ahead and start the scheme right away. It has a 53% chance, which honestly is pretty decent. And if I go and put my Spy Master here on support schemes, and actually if I swap it to somebody a little bit better, and now we go ahead and look over here, you can see it actually went up to 64%. And we might just be able to bribe some of these guys over here once I get enough gold to join, which would push this scheme over to 100%, which I like very much. Because if we do end up killing him, as you can see in our election for the Kingdom of Sweden, we are rank 2. So that means we would just have to kill our king and then the next guy who would come in charge, and we would get the whole Kingdom of Sweden. Okay, so here we go, 60% chance. And look at that, we ended up killing him. So another thing I'm actually going to try to do this game is anytime we have any female courtiers, like you can see our religious council member here, we can go ahead and set up a marriage for them based on prowess, so that I can get their husbands as a knight in my court once they accept the marriage. So now that this guy is married to my religious council member here, you can see we get a free 21 prowess knight with 14 martial ability, which is honestly really strong. This actually brings me to a new segment which I like to call Alright, so I'll give you guys a second to read this one. And this meme right here is for all the Viking lovers I see talking in the comments down below. I know who you guys are, and I just want to let you know you're disgusting. Well, that's it for this segment of So I started revoking some of my vassals' land here because I think we honestly need to land a lot more than they do right now, because I'm worried of the King of Sweden trying to revoke some of my land. So I need to have a big enough military to fight against him. One other thing that we can do to try and stop him from revoking our land is to actually create a liberty faction, which if it goes through, will lower his crown authority to 1, and then he won't have the ability to revoke any land from us at that point in the game. So here comes our scheme to murder our king. Let's see if it goes through. And it looks like it did, so now we have a new liege over here, who is still allied to Denmark, which is annoying. And I think we'll have to just go right ahead and try to do a murder scheme on this guy as well. We're going to be doing a lot of murdering for this game. Okay, our second murder scheme is here, and it has a 95% chance, so this better go through. And there we go, we got rid of that one also. And now it finally looks like, well, it looks like the new liege is no longer allied to Denmark, which is helpful because they're strong, but now he's actually allied to Norway, who is honestly just as strong. And let's see, I think I'll have to run another murder scheme on this guy. So you know what they say, third time's a charm for the murder schemes? Okay, here we go, third murder scheme.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
And now it actually looks like our new liege is a little kid, which is good. And finally they are no longer allied to Norway or Denmark. He's just allied all the way over here to the realm in Scotland, and it looks like he doesn't have too strong a military. So honestly, I feel a lot better about not getting all my titles revoked right now, and we should be able to slowly build up our holdings until we are strong enough to break away from Sweden or take it over ourselves. Well, 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 would you look at this. I don't know where my guy is going. I'm not on any events, but somehow he just got lost in the mountains. And it looks like we're gonna have to eat some people.
Looks like meat's back on the menu, boys!
And then if we look over here, it looks like this little kid wants to fight me. This is what I was worried about before, but now that it's a little kid who doesn't have that much of a military, I think we should be able to fight him off. So I'm going to decline this title revoke here, which will start a war. So what I had to do here was divorce my wife, because I don't think I would be able to win this war without an alliance here. So I'm actually going to get married to a little child so that I can get an ally. And with this ally, I can call them to the war, and hopefully they'll be able to bring their 2,000 men over here, and they should be able to help me win this war against my liege. Yeah, and you can see they did bring their army over here. So there are a few cool things that we get to do because we are playing as a Norse ruler with the Northern Lords DLC pack, and one of those things is we get to choose a deity, a personal deity, which gives you different types of benefits, and you can see them all here. Normally, what I would do would be the devotee of Thor, which gives you prowess and stewardship, which are both very good. But as we are in a war right now, I'm actually going to take this one here, which gives us +3 martial as well as movement speed in winter. So I think that could actually help us a lot. Okay, so I caught a large part of his army over here in a battle, and that was actually a pretty big win. I wish I could run over to take his capital, but I think I would take a little bit too many casualties than I would be comfortable with. So I'm probably going to try to take a couple more castles around my territory first. Okay, huge. So we just won the war, which now means we actually replaced the king. And the crown authority goes back down to 1. Yeah, you can see it's down here to 1, so they cannot revoke our titles right now, which is pretty awesome. And also, this is quite the opportunity because you can see they are super weak right now. They only have 500 men. I think I'm going to go ahead and create my own independence faction. And I'm going to go ahead right away and press my demands, and we'll see what happens.
You're a funny guy.
And look at this, he actually just accepted my demands, which is awesome. So now you can see we are our own duchy now. Broke away from the evil Catholic ruler here. So that's already a huge step forward in the game. Next, I'm going to be just declaring a bunch of wars on these little neighbors around me and building up my strength so we can take over Sweden for real. So I was having a peek over here in some of these places to my north, and it looks like these guys actually feudalized, or they built a castle down here. So that's a perfect holding for me to take to add to my holdings, because I really need to get these numbers up fast, or else some of these strong kingdoms around me might get the wrong idea and try to invade me. Okay, so we finished this war over here, and you can see that adds a new county for our domain, and I'm going to go ahead and raise a runestone right away in there because it's going to help with the control in the area. And I'm also going to go ahead and put our marshal over here on increased control, because these benefits here, once we get the control up, will go right into our military and our gold. Also, now that I am out of war, I'm going to go ahead and switch my personal deity onto Thor, because I would like the +2 stewardship that provides me. It lets me hold another domain when I get one, and it increases our gold income just a little bit. Also, now that I picked up these 2 perks here that will pretty much let me murder anybody really easily, I'm going to switch off of intrigue in favor just for some more stewardship.
Daring today, aren't we?
Because I would like to get my gold income up. Oh, look at this. This is sick. So another cool thing about the Northern Lords DLC is that there's the new trait, the poet trait, that you can get if you're a Norse player. And since this is a virtue for our religion, we're actually going to be gaining an extra piety per month from it, which is super awesome. And we get an increase of diplomacy per level of fame. So the higher we get our fame level here, the higher our diplomacy will go. And it looks like another one of our northern neighbors here has changed from tribal to feudal, as you can see from their little castle holding here. So that's a perfect place for my next invasion, which I will go ahead and do. And there we go.
Boom, bam, bop.
Which brings our holdings up to 4. and increases our units and our gold quite a bit, may I add. Something that I forgot to do was actually break off my betrothal to this child here, because their stats really aren't that good, and they were a kid, and I need the benefits of having a little bit more stewardship so I can get another domain here that will help for when I take this last castle up here in the north. So I'm going to go ahead and find a marriage based on stewardship, and I'll try to choose somebody who's pretty old so that they won't have too many kids for me. And I think this 37-year-old looks good enough. She also has 18 stewardship, so if I go over here to my council and set her to manage domain, you can see it actually bumps my holdings up by 2, so now I can hold 6 holdings. Another thing that you can see here is I actually have a lot of guys in my prison who actually have decent prowess for my realm, so I'm just going ahead and negotiating release for these guys, and I'm demanding they convert, and I'm demanding to recruit them, which means I get them part of my court. You can see our knights are actually getting pretty strong here, and you honestly can't underestimate how strong having good knights are. And it is also time to declare war for this last county over here in the north, and after we win this war we'll be up to 5 domains, which is a pretty good number for us. Here's a quick update for you guys. We are up to 2100 troops, pretty decent, and 7.4 gold per month, which is a lot now that we are almost on full control on all of our counties. Our player here actually has claims on all of Sweden, and the thing is, if we let our character die, then he won't get to exercise these claims. They'll not be passed down to his son. So I'm thinking we're gonna have to make our move for the whole kingdom of Sweden here, as you can see. But the only problem is that he is allied currently to Denmark, who has decent strength, but they are at war with a lot of people. So I think it's about time I do some sneaky moves here, and if I grab my son and player heir, and I search for a marriage based on alliance, that we can actually ally to the kingdom of Prussia. So after a couple quick battles with my help, you can see we're at 100% war score for this war with our ally here in Prussia, and we have won it, which should help Prussia, which will help us in this future war in Sweden over here. So it looks like Sweden is actually going through some infighting here, and that is the perfect opportunity for me to enforce our demands here for the kingdom of Sweden. And we're going to go ahead and call on our ally Prussia, who will help with over 2,500 men. They called in their ally, which is Denmark, but it looks like Denmark's having some trouble of their own because they only have 1,000 troops. So I think we should be able to win this war with Sweden with relative ease, but I do not want to speak too soon. So it looks like they're offering me white peace, and I'm definitely not going to accept that because we should have no problems winning this war. And that does bring us to 100%. So just like that, we should have the whole kingdom of Sweden under our control. Look at this. And it is not the Catholic kingdom of Sweden, but the Esratu kingdom of Sweden, which I think is awesome. So now that we have the kingdom of Sweden, we have to deal with this election for who's going to be the next in charge. And if we look here, our son is only going to be ranked 3rd in this election because we have a couple people ahead of him. And I think what we're going to need to do is to start fabricating some hooks on these people here. Like this guy has a vote of around 30 power, so if we fabricate a hook against him, we'll be able to swing him to our side and vote for our son to be in charge, so we can keep the whole kingdom of Sweden under our family's control here. So this game got pretty crazy pretty quick. I'm currently fighting in a claimant war where they want this guy Prince Erik to be on the throne for the kingdom of Sweden. I wasn't able to stop it from happening, but I was able to call in my allies, and I actually made a couple more allies. Hopefully with these added allies, we might have a chance to defend here. So unfortunately we died, and since we died and we weren't first in the election, we lost the kingdom of Sweden anyway, so we no longer are part of this war. Well, we are part of it, but it doesn't really involve us. And we are back to square one of being a vassal of a Catholic ruler in Sweden, which pretty much sucks. But it turns out we were just too old when we became in charge of Sweden to really do anything, so we didn't have enough time to rig the elections or kill any of the other people who were going to be in charge, which put us in this situation. But I think we could be able to rise out of here successful again. Okay, so I thought I was recording, but it turns out I was not recording. We actually lost our capital here, this county of Upland, but since there was a war going on for to put this guy King Erik in charge of the throne, once he won that war, the claimant war, he actually became the king, and it moved the capital of Sweden down here, leaving only a one county vassal over here. So I just took them over super easily, and we got our capital back, baby. Oh yeah, baby! Honestly, we are back to square one in this game of being the only Astratu ruler in the Kingdom of Sweden who is governed by a Catholic ruler. However, the good news is instead of holding one county, we're now holding 5, which gives us a huge bonus to our money and our gold. So we'll be able to upgrade our buildings and get better units quickly. And then another thing is I was looking at the election, and we are actually finally ranked number 1 in the election. So I quickly started a murder scheme against the King of Sweden. We are truly right back to the beginning of the game, and if this murder scheme goes through and we are number 1, we'll re-get the whole Kingdom of Sweden yet again. But this time we'll actually be young enough to hopefully hold it for ourselves. So that's our goal in the immediate short term here. Oh my god. Right when I finally get a goal, look at this. This King of Sweden wants to declare a war on me. He wants to revoke my titles. Well, you know what I'm going to do is decline that, which again is going to start another war. However, I am allied to Prussia, who is pretty strong still. So I'm going to call them to the war, and hopefully they will be able to save me.
A few moments later.
And boom, just like that, we hit 100% war score. And we are able to keep all our land without it being revoked. Yes, and we are replaced as the steward of Sweden, which will net us 2 gold per month. Oh my goodness. Okay, and now they want to imprison me for crimes against the crown. What was I a criminal for? Can you tell me that? Well, I'm going to decline it. We just defended against a war from Sweden, so I feel like we should be able to defend against another one right now. Okay, so I just won a big battle. And you can see we're up to 92% war score, and I didn't even need to call in the Prussians for this war. And just like that, 100% war score. Enforce our demands, and look at that, since we disposed the king, we were next in line to for the throne, and now we just became the king again.
King in the castle, king in the castle.
So now we have everything back together again, but it looks like we're in some wars here, although I'm not sure for what. Oh, so it looks like these people want an independence war here in Finland, and I'm kind of inclined to just surrender because I just gained a lot of land already, so I honestly don't mind surrendering here. And it looks like we have another independence faction, or it's actually a faction to install this little child.
Noah!
And unfortunately, the total strength is 7,800 for all these enemies. But hopefully these new alliances that I just made will help me a lot here. The only good news is that all the vassals are split up, so maybe I can catch a couple off guard. Okay, coming at you live from a massive battle here that we might win. Oh yeah, it looks like we're gonna win this one. You can see the war is not going well for us, but this could turn the tide. Wow, we killed 2,000 men, but we actually lost a lot of men as well. You can see the total numbers are almost even now. So hopefully we'll be able to turn this war around. I'm doing everything I can here to get as many good knights as possible. Okay, so this war, we haven't fought a battle in a long time. We're just kind of like trading, taking pieces of land. But because of that, we can actually white peace them, because it's been so long, the war. But I think I'm going to keep going just a little bit, and if we get into a battle where we're going to lose, I can just white peace at that point. We hit 100% war score, and that was a close one. We had to call in so many allies just to be able to defend against that. But I think we should have a lot of our vassals who are Catholic now imprisoned. So what we can do is ransom them and convert them, or what we can do is revoke their titles and give them to new vassals who are actually of my religion. But we are finally a fully formed Sweden here, and I hope that we'll be able to stay like this without a war for at least a few years so I can get organized. It's been like the last I don't even know how long I was playing, but just a war after war after war, and it was getting so crazy. Hopefully I'll have a nice time of peace here where I can just group together my realm. So I'm currently enjoying some peaceful time in my realm and increasing all of my control, because actually every single one of my counties that I hold is at low control right now. So once that gets back up to good control, I should have more men and more money. If you look at our election, our son is not first, but he's pretty close. I should be able to get some people here who I can force through soon enough. And I am finally able to start building buildings again, which is my favorite thing to do. Get my land developing, get our gold income skyrocketing. Alright guys, I played a bit longer just to see, to make sure the realm will be stable. And I think honestly we're doing pretty good. We're up to 10 gold per month, 3,500 units, so we actually have more than Norway. A little bit less than Denmark though. But we definitely stabilized the realm. We only have 5 counties, but you can see we're making tons of gold from these counties because of all these buildings we were making in here. I think so far it has been a pretty successful journey. As the true Norse Vikings left in Sweden, we took over the country, and now we are slowly but surely spreading our religion. I've been converting a lot of these vassals who were imprisoned before. You can see a lot of these vassals we have here are no longer Catholic, so in their own time they'll start converting their realms to the right religion here. But if you guys would like to see more of this video, maybe me taking over Scandinavia and truly making the whole north and removing Catholicism from all of the northern countries, I might do something like that in the future. But honestly, I think this start was a little bit easier than the one in Ethiopia. However, once I took Sweden for the first time, it became a giant shit show with all of the other vassals declaring war against me. However, I'm pretty happy that we were able to hold Sweden all together as an Asatra ruler. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.